Okay guys, so in this video I'm going to show you the new MacBook Pro M4 Pro for music production. And I'm going to compare that with my old M1 Max MacBook Pro that I have here. And this has been my workhorse for 3 years now. It's been working great, but I'm looking for mainly upgrading this system and see if the M4 Pro is doing any better than my M1 Max here. So I'm going to do different tests here. I'm going to do tests for Logic Pro, for FL Studio, and for Ableton Live. And there's a lot of different tests out here on YouTube for the M4 Pro for music production. But for this test, I'm going to do something different. So I'm going to test 3 things and 3 realistic things for music production here. So first of all, I'm going to do a benchmark test. So we're going to just try to max out the CPU with as much plugins and tracks as we can. And for the next test, we're going to do a project, just a project playback. So we're just going to play that project file and see how the CPU reacts on it. And for the third thing, we're going to just export that demo project and just time it how long that export will take in time. And then we're going to summarize these 3 tests together to get benchmark result. So Logic Pro, FL Studio, and Ableton Live. So for the first DAW, we're going to look at Logic Pro. Okay, so for this test, we're going to download a Logic Pro project file. And you can do that if you go to music-prod.com/logic benchmark. And here we have a blog post. So this is a pretty old blog post now, but it's regularly updated here with different systems and how many of the test tracks that can be played for each system. So here you can see we still have the 2020 Mac Pro still going strong here with the Intel CPU. So that's kind of surprising here. But other than that, we have the, let's see, a MacBook Pro 14-inch M4 Pro 24 gigs of RAM. That is the system that I'm going to test. And that gets us 286 test tracks. So if you compare that to, for instance, the M1 Max here that I got, that one got me only 185 tracks, or even the M2 Max here, 192 tracks. So you can see there's a very big difference between the M1 and M2 Max, which were the biggest CPUs in that time, and let's see here, M4 Pro is getting us 286. You can still see that the M3 Max is getting 370 tracks, so it's still, yeah, that's a huge difference, of course. But we don't have the M4 Max results out there yet. So if anyone has the M4 Max out there and want to test that, that would be great if you can just comment here. And yeah, you can search for newest here, and still we don't have that system added here, unfortunately. But I have an M4 Pro that I'm going to test here with this benchmark. You can test this, of course, here as well. If you just go to download here, Logic Test, and then you will have the benchmark file. So let's go to Logic now. And here you have Logic Pro open up. So yeah, I'm just going to enable all of these tracks. We have 128 tracks. I'm just going to take the stereo out and put it to none because we don't want to hear these tracks, right? I'm going to do the pointer tool and duplicate a bit of tracks, because as of now we have 128 tracks, and I think that's, yeah, it's going to play that with no problem here. Performance meter, let's just fire it up here, CPU. And if you want to do this test on your own, you have to make sure that it's, let's see here, project, audio, okay, and we have IO buffer size, it should be at the maximum here. And processing threads, it should be at the maximum here as well. So you have to change that from the automatic setting here. So yeah, let's play this. And it should be able to play like 2 bars here, right? And it played it with no problems. But you can see it already goes to kind of maximum here. So let's duplicate these tracks here. And let's make, let's see here, how many we had, 185 tracks. So let's do about 180 tracks here. All right, so now we have 180 tracks. Let's just copy these regions over here. Okay, and I'm going to delete that audio track, and we still have 4 regions left. Okay, so let's play this now, and let's see if it can play at least 2 bars. Yes, it did. So 180 tracks is okay. So let's do some more. I think it's going to show the same result as here, 185, but let's just make sure that it actually runs these tracks. Okay, 186, one more. And we should delete those tracks here as well. That played it fine, so above 185 tracks. Okay, so let's try two more. Okay, it still plays it pretty much okay, but I think it's struggling because now when I duplicate tracks, it's going very slow here, so 192 tracks. Okay, system overload. So you can see here, this is how this test works. So let's delete those tracks. Okay, so 189 tracks is our result here. So yeah, it can differ, of course. Sometimes you get some applications running or something like that. I made sure that only my screen recording is running here and nothing else on my systems. So I'm getting as much as I can from this system. Okay, so I'm going to do the same test on my M4 Pro now, and let's see how that goes. All right, so here we have the M4 Pro, and as you can see, there's a lot of tracks here. We have 259 tracks, or actually 277 tracks that we have in this project file. So let's try these 277, and let's see how this goes. And as you can see, it plays it, yes, it plays it without any problems at all. So 277 tracks, no problems. So let's do some more tracks here. And I think we're going to do something like 290 tracks, 289. Okay, that's pretty fine. So let's just copy these regions over and see what we got for the M4 here, M4 Pro. 286 tracks is getting us a system overload. So let's delete those tracks. Let's see how this goes. Okay, so 286, just like that, play it, and it works. It gets us a system overload when we try to play more than 2 bars. But for 2 bars, it works great. So our result is going to be 286 tracks for the M4 Pro. So for the next test, we're going to do a project playback. So for that, we're going to do a demo project. So if we go to demo projects on Logic Pro, and we're going to use this Ellie Dixon swing song. So for that one, if you don't have that one, you have to update Logic Pro, but we're going to choose that one for now. So let's just load it here. All right, so here we have the project file. So I shut down everything on my system here. I just have Logic Pro open up, and obviously the screen recording here, nothing else is running on my computer. So for this one now, I'm going to do a test. So let's play the full song. I'm going to mute this, and we're going to take a look at this performance meter here and how the drive IO is performing here. So let's play it. All right, so as you can see there, we got some different results, but pretty similar results, I think, for the playback. So we're going to do one more project file here, the demo project Take a Day Trip by Manzana. So we're going to play this as well and just see if it reacts differently in a different way or something like that. So let's play this on both of the systems. Okay, so as you could see there, the M4 Pro was the winner here as well. So on both of these project files and on both of these systems, these project files were played perfectly, right? And it should be played very good because Apple wants you to see that Logic Pro is handling like big projects with less resources, right? So this should work on even like a standard M1 CPU as well. But I just wanted to show you the performance meter just so you can see how the computers perform. Okay, so the next test we're going to do here is that we're going to take this demo project, the second one, and we're going to do an export. So we're going to bounce these to WAV files. And we're going to just see how long it takes for the M1 Max and how long it takes for the M4 Pro. Let's do the test. So I'm going to go with bounce, project or section, and then I'm going to choose PCM here instead of MP3. And I'm going to make sure that everything is selected. So start 1 to 115. And then I'm going to leave it as is. So now I'm just going to press OK, and then we're going to leave it as it is. Okay, so let's do this. So as you could see there, the M4 Pro was the clear winner here with about 13 seconds of export time, and the M1 Max has about 20 seconds of export time. So that means that the M4 Pro is like way better than M1 Max for music production. At least in Logic Pro. So we're going to try this in Ableton Live and in FL Studio as well. So let's start with FL Studio. And by the way, if you're working in Logic Pro and want to level up your skills, I've created a full program called Logic Pro Academy. It's a 12-week personalized program where I record custom tutorials just for you, straight from Avicii's old studios in Stockholm, Sweden. Whether you're a beginner or an experienced producer, this program is designed to help you create professional quality music at your own pace. And if you prefer a self-paced approach, I've also got tons of Logic Pro courses on Udemy, covering everything from workflows to mixing and mastering. You can find links to Logic Pro Academy and all my Udemy courses in the description below, or go to these links showed here on the screen. Okay, so first of all, we need to go to music-prod.com/FL-benchmark. And on that website here, we have a blog post, and here we can download the project file for the benchmark test that we have for FL Studio. So you just have to download that and just open it up. Okay, so here we have the FL Studio Benchmark 24 project file. So for this test, we're going to do two different tests. So one is the project Playback, and we're going to see how the CPU meters react on the M1 Max versus the M4 Pro. And then we're also going to do an export test. So we're just going to time these exports between these two systems. So let's do the first test. So I'm just going to mute it and just fast forward, and we're going to take a look at the CPU meter here. I have everything shut down here besides the FL Studio app and the screen recording software, of course. So let's just play this on these two computers and let's see how it goes. Okay, so as you can see, there was no like big difference or something like that. It got kind of similar results here. So we're going to do the export now, and let's see how the export is doing for this project file. So I'm going to go to File, Export, WAV file, Save, and then we have WAV, and I'm going to leave it as it is. And as you can see, total time 8 minutes and 7 seconds, full song. So that is what we're going to do. Let's just hit start and let's time this. Alright, so the results are in. So for the M1 Max, we had an export time of 1 minute and 56 seconds. And for the M4 Pro, we got 1 minute and 12 seconds. So a bit of difference there. It's not like half of the time, but it's still a huge difference, I think, in export time. So to make this test even more fair, we're going to do this with a demo project as well. So I'm going to go here with demo songs, and let's choose the last one here, All Bathed Deep Inside. And I'm going to just open this up here. And for this one, we're going to do the same thing here. We're going to play back this song first, and then we're going to do export as well. So here I have to mute this song, of course, but we're just going to look for the results. So let's see the results. Okay, so similarly there, it's barely any difference there. So let's do an export instead. I'm going to do File, Export, WAV file, and we're going to hit Start here, and let's just time this. All right, so the test results are in. So for the M1 Max, we got 2 minutes and 11 seconds of export time. And for the M4 Pro, we got 1 minute and 30 seconds of export time. So there's a difference, but it's not like a huge difference in my opinion for this one. So for FL Studio, of course, the M4 Pro is the winner here, but there's not a huge difference like there was in Logic Pro. So that is it for FL Studio. We're going to do a test now for Ableton Live. Also, for all my FL Studio users out there, I've got FL Studio Academy, a 12-week program where I work with you directly to help you create professional tracks step by step. It's like having a personal mentor to guide you through every stage of music production. And if you're looking for even more resources, I've got an extensive library of FL Studio, Logic Pro, and Ableton Live courses on Udemy. All the links to FL Studio Academy, Logic Pro Academy, and my Udemy courses are in the description below. You can also go to these links here on the screen. Make sure to check out the links to get the best prices and start improving your production skills today. Okay, so for Ableton Live, we're going to do 3 different tests. First one is going to be a benchmark project file where we do a test of how many tracks there can be played at the same time. And then the next test is going to be project files being played. So we're just going to play back a project file and just take a look at the CPU meter and how it behaves. And then for the third test, we're going to do an export test. So we're going to time that export and compare those export times between the M1 Max and the M4 Pro. Okay, so let's start with the first test. So for the first test, you need to go to music-prod.com/Ableton benchmark. And here you have a file called Ableton benchmark test, and you need to download this. Okay, so here we have the benchmark test project file, and we have one track. So what we're going to do here is to just duplicate this track. So we're going to duplicate it a lot here. Let's do 100 tracks for now. So now you can see we have 100 tracks here. So we're going to just play it, but make sure to have the master on 0 here, because otherwise you can destroy your speakers if there's 100 tracks being played at the same time. So let's just play it and let's look at the CPU meter here. So it shows us about 30-40%. So I'm just going to load up 100 more tracks here and let's see how that shows up. All right, so we got 200 tracks now. Let's play it. Shows about 60 something percent. So let's do 100 more. All right, so now we have 301 tracks. Let's play it. It still plays it, as you can see, but it gives us above 100%. So I'm just going to do 1 on current CPU overload, and it's overloading as of now. But it still plays it, but it struggles a bit. For that, we will give it about 300 tracks. I think it can handle even more. So let's just make some more tracks here. I'm going to do 50 more. Okay, so we have 51, so let's do 52. Let's scroll down all the way down here. Let's Command D. And it's going to make us 50 tracks more. Right, 351 track. Let's go. So you can see about 122%. Okay, so that is the CPU result that we get when using 351 tracks. So what I'm going to do now is that I'm going to save this project file, these 351 tracks, and I'm going to put this on my M4 Pro, and we're going to see how much percent CPU is working there. So we're going to use that as our benchmark here, benchmark test and benchmark results. So let's see how many percent it shows up for the CPU on the M4 Pro MacBook Pro one. Okay, so for the M4 Pro here, we got, let's see here, we start the project file here, let's play it and let's see here. Okay, so about 80%, something like that. So we had about 120% to 130% on the M1 Max, and for the M4 Pro we got about 80%. So that's kind of a big difference there. So that's it for the Ableton benchmark test. Let's test this now with the demo project. All right, so here we have the Ableton Live demo project. So if you can't find the demo project, you can just take a look at this article here from Ableton Live, and you can see the path where you can find the demo project on macOS and on Windows. We're going to do 2 tests here. First test is going to be playback of the project file, and we're going to take a look at the CPU meter. And for the second test is going to be the export time. So we're just going to time the export of the project file from the M1 Max and M4 Pro. So let's play back this song first. I'm just going to do the master on none here, just so we can't hear the song. And we're going to take a look at the CPU. Okay, so for the next test, we're going to do the export timing here. So let's time our export. We're going to go to File, Export Audio Video, and I'm going to leave it as it is. So it's also going to create an analysis file. I'm going to take that into the timing because there's also a lot of CPU power being used for that analysis file. So I'm just going to hit export here and I'm going to time this and let's see how this goes. Alright, so the results are in. So for the M1 Max, we had an export time of around 27 seconds. And for the M4 Pro one, we got an export time of around 14 seconds. So almost half the export time there for the M4 Pro. So a clear winner here as well, M4 Pro versus M1 Max for Ableton Live. Okay, so the results are in. The M4 Pro is a crazy good CPU for music production, and I'm going to show you why I think that. So first, the Logic Pro results. That was a very good one. Benchmark test. We got 189 tracks for the M1 Max, and for the M4 Pro, it was 286 tracks, which means a whopping 51% improvement for the M4 Pro compared to the M1 Max, which shows that the maxed out M1 Max computer that you could get about 3 years ago can't even be compared to the M4 Pro, which is a standard model. This is a base model for the M4 Pro. And as you can see, the song export, we got 35% improvement for the M4 Pro, so that is also very, very good. Let's take a look at the FL Studio results. So we got benchmark exports and song exports. So about 30 to 40% improvement for the M4 Pro, which is also amazing. And for the Ableton Live, we got the song export, which gave us 46% improvement for the M4 Pro. So I can only say that these results actually shocked me. I thought that the M4 Pro was going to be a bit better than the M1 Max because the first one is a Max CPU and the M4 one is a Pro CPU. I know that there's like 3 generations up for the M4 Pro, but it's still a huge improvement for them for just the Pro version of the M chip. And I really wanted to test this because I've seen a lot of different YouTube videos on here that just shows numbers and shows different like how the CPU reacts and temperature and stuff like that. But here you can see how it works when you play a song or export a song or something like that. And this is, I think, a more realistic way to benchmark these CPUs for music production. Okay guys, thank you so much for watching this video. And please make sure to subscribe to this channel if you want to see more of these kind of videos. And make sure to go to the links below that I have in the description for this YouTube video, where you can see a lot more content from me. Okay guys, that is it for this video. Hope to see you in another one.